Welcome to the Purple Elephant Show. I am your host, KC Phoenix. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad I made it. Okay, housekeeping. ThePurpleElephantShow.com, main podcasting platform. Also, for you Apple lovers, I have the direct Apple link to the Apple podcasting platform for the Purple Elephant Show. You can go there. Obviously, the show has always been available on the Apple podcasting platform as well as other platforms. However, I recently found out that tons of people listen to podcasts on Apple, even though I'm not an Apple person. And I have to make that very clear. I've never owned an iPhone in my life. Never owned one. So, but I don't hate those who do, and I don't begrudge those who do. So, anyways, yeah, to follow the show, Parler, so we can parlay, The Purple Elephant Show, Instagram, The Purple Elephant Show, Twitter, @RealTPES, Facebook.com/The Purple Elephant Show. And if you're watching this, don't forget to subscribe, followed by the notification bell on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe on Daily Motion. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Obviously, that helps the algorithm. And this sort of goes back into what I was talking about before. On my episode, Dear Media, you're the reason the polls will never be right about President Trump. President Trump had a press conference today. Today is August the 8th. It was kind of important. He did 4 executive orders today. CNN didn't cover the press conference, and MSNBC didn't cover the press conference. Mind you, he did 4 executive orders today. He signed them. One executive order was for evictions, to make sure that people don't get kicked out of their homes, out of their apartments, things like that. He also did an executive order in regards to extending the unemployment payments. It wasn't at the $600, he did it at $400. So he did that. He did another executive order to suspend the payroll tax for the rest of this year. And then he said if he's reelected, which if you watch my previous episode, if my premonition holds true, he will be reelected. He'll go ahead and then suspend it for next year as well. And then the other executive order was in regards to student loans. It really irritates me that they couldn't take the time to just cover the press conference. He wasn't talking for 3 hours or 4 hours or something like that. It wasn't really a quote unquote Trump rally. It was a press conference about the executive orders. One would think that the American people would like to know that an executive order banning evictions and keeping people's homes from being foreclosed on would be important and hear what the president has to say. Same thing with the payroll tax, which that's going to be a kick when people start to see how much payroll tax is taken out of their check, too, which is for people under $100,000. Like I said, I do most things from memory. So yeah, pretty sure it was $100,000, making less than $100,000 for the payroll tax. And also for the people who are dealing with unemployment right now, I would think they would want to know that, hey, it's been extended, not at the 600, but at the 400. And he signed the executive order for that. And for people who have student loans, considering that there's over $1 trillion. Last time I checked, I think it was 1.1 or 1.2 trillion in student loans that currently exists. So I would think those people would like to hear that information. But because CNN and MSNBC are biased, as many other people in the media. That's why over 90% of the coverage is negative. But it's to be expected because 80% of the people in the media are Democrats. 80%. It just proves what everyone says about them being fake news. Because a real news organization would have covered the press conference. Instead, the leader of the free world, which that always makes me feel weird saying that. And that's with any president, whether I like him or not, the leader of the free world. Because I feel, watch my episode on classism, what I mean by classism. Because it's kind of, but let's not get sidetracked. For all intents and purposes, the leader of the free world does a press conference to say, hey, this is what I plan to do by executive order to help the American people and to make things a little bit easier for them. That's important. The media will always be garbage. I've said that before. I said it during the episode I mentioned earlier. They're garbage, they've been garbage, they will always be garbage. But I would think that they would at least have certain moments where they're like, okay, fine, we'll go ahead and cover it. Even if they don't want to. Begrudgingly, they'll cover it. And be like, okay, fine, we'll cover it. Because of what he was doing with the executive orders. This wasn't just a regular press conference. If it was a regular briefing, it would be whatever. This wasn't a regular briefing. This was a press conference with 4 executive orders. 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 executive orders that affect over 300 million Americans. You can't deliver the news to your viewers on the 4 executive orders that affects over 300 million Americans. That's why you're called fake news. That's why you're garbage. And I don't think the media will ever get it. I really, really don't. Just report the news. That was news. Not just, that wasn't even news. That was breaking news. Unlike every single time when you see it. And yes, Fox, you're guilty of this too. Every 2 seconds, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. This was something that was actually worthy of being called breaking news. 4 executive orders. But CNN, MSNBC, didn't cover it. They didn't cover it. Because they don't care about their viewers. They don't care about the American people. All they care about is get Trump, get Trump, get Trump, get Trump, get Trump, get Trump. So take that and do with it what you will. You can research more information on the details of the executive orders. I just gave you the overview, the cliff notes. I'm sure the details are probably already available. If not, they'll more than likely be available within 24 to 48 hours. And you can go to like DuckDuckGo and do a search and get the details from there. Also, if you didn't see the press conference, I recommend you check it out. And one final thing, I was watching the press conference on RSBN, which shout out to RSBN, and he said something that was so true. The gentleman who runs RSBN, and if you ever watch this or see this, I wish I remembered your name. I'm not an apology person because I don't believe in apologies. Because as the saying goes, if apologies fixed everything, we wouldn't need laws or policemen. But I will say, I wish I remembered your name right now because I feel really bad. What he said was true. If they decide not to cover the press conference, MSNBC and CNN, they shouldn't have been allowed to ask questions. If they're not going to cover it, okay, fine. You don't need to ask any questions then. You're not going to cover it anyway. Next question. Which is a very, very fair point for this particular situation. I'm not saying for everything. I'm just talking about for this particular press conference with 4 executive orders that affected over 300 million Americans that actually can be called breaking news. It should have been covered on all the networks. And for the networks that don't cover it, they shouldn't be able to ask questions. And that's how it should be. And that's all I got. Don't forget, the 3rd episode will be a podcast-only episode. I'll go ahead and tell you what it's about now. Kanye West running mate. I thought it was kind of interesting. I didn't even know he had picked a running mate, but I will discuss that in the podcast-only episode. And it's pretty cool that he's still in the race because I thought that he wasn't. I believe he had an issue getting on the ballot in New Jersey, maybe. It was one of the states. I forgot which state it was. I want to say it was New Jersey, but I have to double check that. I'll check that when I'm talking about his running mate, but he's definitely still, or as he says, walking for president. So yeah, thank you again to those who have been watching the show, those who have been listening to the show. I appreciate you more than you know. Don't forget to follow on Parler, The Purple Elephant Show, Instagram, The Purple Elephant Show, Facebook.com/The Purple Elephant Show, Twitter @RealTPES, YouTube, Daily Motion. Subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube. Don't forget to comment and like and share. Helps the algorithm. All of that other jazz. I appreciate you again. Thank you. Be blessed.